fish out of water character who has no idea the 21st century stuff. So here it goes.
Okay.
Did you know that they have bathrooms here?
Yes, they have bathrooms here.
But like, you got to be excited about it.
Oh.
Because
Holy shit, did you know they have running water?
there you go.
Like, what? What is this?
Wow, and they have glass cups.
Yeah, they have roads paved with actual road. It's not just compressed dirt and children feces.
Isn't that a joke from somewhere?
Yeah, Cabin in the Woods.
No.
Yeah.
Isn't that from something else? It's like the road is actually paved with road.
No.
Cabin in the Woods.
It was Cabin in the Woods. I just said that. Yeah, the street's paved with actual street. It's like the railroads come through this town soon, I hear.
Yeah. I don't know where I am right now.
That's all good. We haven't even gotten alcohol. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if this audio is going to come out sounding reasonable because we are in a noisy bar, but it has come full circle. On the Rocks is back where it started. We're in a bar now. We are at the House of Wax Bar in Brooklyn, which is located inside of the Alamo Draft House.
Oh, wait, were you rolling with the whole thing?
Yes, I was rolling.
Well, please.
What do you think, I'm basic?
No, cut that out because it's so fucking stupid.
All right.
I will not allow that.
So listen.
We can have it up to that point where you come in.
Yeah, okay. Audience, I got some bad news. Dave and I are a bunch of fucking liars and cheats and swindlers. We promised you Starship Troopers for episode 2. That ain't happening. And it ain't happening because we happen to get into a screening of The Death of Stalin that Steve Buscemi is actually going to be at. One of the perks of living in New York, shit like this just happens, and you can get into it. It's pretty cool. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to have a Q&A with Buscemi that we may or may not include in the podcast. Maybe we'll upload it separately. We're not sure. But here we are. So we're going to start pre-gaming and drinking.
I can't wait.
Dave's excited. This is Dave. It's your first time at the Alamo, right?
This is my first time. I've never been here, ever. This is pretty fucking awesome. We're surrounded by death masks.
Yeah.
Which is very ominous and kind of creepy, and I mean, if you're into that sort of thing,
I'm almost exclusively into death masks.
Oh,
thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
Right.
This looks very
Fancy, right?
I was gonna say something else, but sure, let's toast
To the art of cinema and alcohol.
and alcohol, especially alcohol.
Oh, that was a singular good decision. How's yours?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's a good thing we got driven to the train tonight because we are going to be very sober.
I'm gonna have a lot of these. Is the flour edible?
I mean, listen, anything is edible if you have the fucking gumption.
If you have the power of drunk.
Alcohol, making the inedible edible since 1927.
1927?
Yeah.
All right, cut that. It's a bad joke. It's terrible.
You know what?
You let our audience listen to this?
I mean, I do.
If they like this sort of stuff.
Yeah, listen. Nobody said it was great stuff. It's episode 2. Like 6 people are going to watch this unless it's on YouTube.
Like, listen, I like the garnish or whatever, but, like, it could have E. coli.
Dave's drinking thoughts with David Strano. We haven't talked about movies yet.
No, we haven't.
All right, so there was some news we wanted to discuss while we're at the bar drinking.
Well,
very appropriate because we're drinking kind of martinis.
We're not drinking martinis.
No, we're not.
It's not even close.
It's not. But
Not even close.
theater of the mind. They could have thought it was.
No.
All right, do you want to...
A martini with a flower in it?
Just break the news, you
All right.
fuck.
So apparently Danny Boyle has been accepted to do Bond 25, which is...
I'm excited.
I'm hesitant
Understandable.
because I talked to Paul about this off recorded, but I see him as more of a gritty kind of filmmaker. He's like mostly realistic. The only thing that I think is the most fantastical that he's ever done is Sunshine.
Yeah.
Because everything else is kind of based in reality.
I don't know, man. I thought that full frontal scene in Trance was pretty fantastical.
Well, that was fantastical on a whole different level. But, like, he's done Trainspotting.
Yes.
Trainspotting 2.
Yes.
And others.
Slumdog Millionaire, I think you were looking for?
And 127 Hours.
Yeah. Oh, that's that movie where James Franco finds out Peter Parker's Spider-Man.
And then cuts his own arm off.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. There made a bit of monkey in it, too.
Just because of pure shock.
Yeah. But, spoiler alert.
But no, I don't see him, like... He said that him and his writer had, like, an idea. So they just pitched it, and the producers loved it. I'm curious as to what it's going to be.
You know, I think, especially now with a certain amount of distance, we can safely say Spectre was not good. It had a great opening scene. Like, I love the oneer. It had some cool stuff, but overall, it was kind of a mess.
No, it wasn't a mess. It was too much. It was too much, and they didn't know what to do with any of it.
But Dave, it's not enough that he's Blofeld and that we don't think he's Blofeld. He's also James Bond's brother and the author of Your Pain.
It just doesn't make it, like, who cares if it's his brother? Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Also, why does he have to be there, like, pulling the strings and articulating all the, like, you know...
Because it was stupid retroactive writing. Because it's like, we finally got the rights, let's do this. And it's like, no...
Did they announce at the time that they had recently gotten the rights back to the character?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised that...
It was 5 months.
I'm sure that was why everyone just knew, like, it's going to be him.
Yeah, Christoph, it's got to be Blofeld. Yeah, there's no other way. There's no reason why they would cast him.
I thought I remember... Was it you that said that they had already, like, scripted or set up or shot the bridge sequence and they had to, like, retrofit the plot to make...
Well, no, it wasn't
work?
because of him. It was because of whatever the script was at the time.
Yeah.
It could have had Blofeld in it or whatever, but they probably just scrapped that idea. But they're like, oh, fuck, we can't do it because we already built the set, so we'll just do whatever we have to get that in there. So, it could have been early on, who knows what that was. But, like, I'm curious about this one.
Yeah.
Because they already had a script written out for it. Now, if they were doing stuff like that they were doing before, it's kind of worrisome.
Definitely.
Because it's like, okay, Danny Boyle, you have a great idea, but you got to work this into it now.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. So, I'm very curious to see what they're going to do. I'm glad that Daniel Craig is back. They said that Blofeld's not going to be in it.
That's probably good.
I mean, he's... Like, he could be good. Like, he could be, like, a great villain, but what they already did with him, it's like...
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Would you say that you had your chance and you blew it?
You blew it. You blew it. You blew it. Robert De Niro, Copland, you blew it. That's a great line that nobody... That's a meme. It's a meme waiting to happen.
It's a meme that you and I have made to each other. It is our own personal meme.
Yeah.
You blew it.
You blew it. You could have been a cop. You had your chance. Right? You blew it. No, it's kind of sad. It's kind of because you have this great cinematic. Everybody knows who he is, even if they don't know his name.
Yeah.
And part of it is thanks to Austin Powers. It's like everybody knows who it is. They just don't know his name.
Excited.
It's Dr.
Pretty good.
But, is there anything else, Paul?
In terms of news?
In terms of anything exciting?
Not particularly. Listen, like, they dropped the new Deadpool trailer. I'm excited. Listen, I'm in.
Your colonoscopy.
My colonoscopy? Yeah. Oh, I got the results of the test back. I definitely have breast cancer. But what's more important than my titties is us discussing a little bit of backstory, a little bit of background about what we're going to be watching tonight. I have not seen a trailer and know essentially nothing about this movie other than the fact that it's a comedy, political satire about the death of Stalin, called The Death of Stalin. I believe it's made by the guy behind Veep, and Steve Buscemi's in it. I heard,
I've heard of the movie once. I saw a trailer like months ago.
Didn't even see a trailer.
Oh, I don't remember it. I don't know how I saw it. I think it was like an ad on YouTube that I just skipped over after 30 seconds.
All right, so
And
Steve,
I don't really remember anything,
So-
so we're all going into this blind.
excellent. So top Steve Buscemi roles. For me, it is a three-way tie between Donnie from The Big Lebowski, Mr. Pink from Reservoir Dogs, and Crazy Eyes from Mr. Deeds.
I was going to say Con Air. He's the child molester in Con Air?
Well, he did drive through several states wearing her head as a hat, did he not?
Yeah, I think so.
That was a great piece of anti-casting. He's great.
And I loved him as Randall in Monsters, Inc.
Yeah.
Do you hear that? That's the winds of change. Yeah. Do you hear that? You hear the winds of change?
So a little bit of interesting background info on Steve Buscemi. He's actually from Valley Stream, I believe, and he was a firefighter.
Helped out in 9/11.
Yeah, not a widely publicized thing. He didn't really do it for the publicity. The only reason we even know he did it is because there are some photos that happen to catch him in full firefighter gear. So he's not only a really awesome actor who's willing to be incredibly silly, but also really good and serious. He's just a good dude. I like him.
I don't, but yeah, sure. Why not?
You don't like Steve Buscemi?
Oh, Steve Buscemi. Oh, yeah.
Wait, what were you talking about?
Steve Guttenberg.
Nobody listen, it's all Guttenberg.
It's all Guttenberg all the time.
Can we please talk about Steve Guttenberg, all right? Roxanne, the Dolphin movie, that's not the full title, but I don't remember it.
Flipper?
Flipper, no.
He wasn't in Flipper.
He wasn't in Flipper. He was
No,
in...
that was Paul Hogan and
God damn it, Dave.
and Elijah Wood.
The First Short Circuit, another Guttenberg joint. What other movies was Guttenberg in?
I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna try this.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that's going to be very strong. So it's going to be a lot different from this. Are you cool with that? You good?
If he can walk, we have failed.
Nice. Love it. Yeah.
This was excellent, by the way. Good choice.
Yeah, these are great. Yeah.
Yeah, but fuck Steve Guttenberg. We're only going to be talking about good Steves. Merchant. Not dwarf.
No,
Not dwarf.
dwarf.
Yeah.
Oh,
Check- I think that's a
I
PH.
thought you meant Worf.
Dwarf?
Worf.
No. No, I mean the guy from...
Stephen Dwarf.
No. Stephen Dwarf. From Alone in the Dark.
Star Trek. That's his first name, Steven. Everybody just calls him Worf. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I know who...
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Wow. Get a couple drinks in us and we just get all sloppy. This is going to be a hell of an intro.
That water sure is tasty.
It's got the perfect pH.
It's more watery than water.
It's like that Rob Zombie song.
It's got a water kick to it.
No, you're right. He does.
Bam.
You don't even know what I'm talking about.
Dave's drunk already.
No, I'm just drunk. It's fine. I'm just limber. It's 8:33.
Drinking and podcasting. All right, so we're going to go head up now. We're going to go get our seats. And we will let you guys know how the movie is. And we'll be posting the Q&A in its entirety as a separate thing. So, Godspeed.
Signing off.
Signing off. I'm Paul Danino Braun.
I'm Dave.
You piece of shit.
Yep. Did you miss the
What'd I miss?
Danger 5 thing when you were talking?
Wait, there was a Danger 5 thing?
Yeah.
Where?
On the screen.
Seriously?
Yeah, you missed it. It was Danger 5 Season 1. They had Stalin up there.
When was there Stalin in Season 1?
Yeah, I forgot which episode it was, but remember it's like hiding my mustache or whatever?
Yes!
Yes.
Oh yeah, so what they do is for every movie, the pre-roll is all custom stuff. It's almost like a video essay or a tone piece from the movie you're about to watch. That's why we're watching so much Russian propaganda and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm recording this.
Why?
I just wanted to, for a second, I really just wanted to get an idea of how well this microphone performed in here.
Don't they have cookies?
Yes, they do. They're dank as fuck. I came here with Tom. We saw Eraserhead. It was a really interesting experience. I don't know how much Tom liked the movie.
I don't think you like the movie.
I don't know. Tom.
Oh, here.
Tom and Tay with your House of Horror podcast. We're calling you out. What did you think of Eraserhead? Friends with more successful podcasts than I. Us.
Yes, it's pretty successful. Oh,
Good for them, right? I'm so
chocolate-
proud of them.
Yeah, fucking. Chocolate chip trio.
Yeah.
I propose we call a doctor.
All the best doctors are dead.
I can't remember who's alive and who isn't.
It's Comrade Stalin.
I'll take it from here.
We need to start putting together a plan.
How can you run and plot at the same time?
We should get Stalin's children here.
What are you doing to my father, you jackals? How old are you?
I'm old.
You're not old! You're not even a person! You're a testicle!
Everything's gonna be fine.
This is not exactly fine, is it? My father's lying there with his head open.
Stalin would have wanted the committee as one.
All those in favor? Carried. Unanimously.
Rooshed, not rooshed.
Whatever.
Not rooshed. Rooshed?
Would you stop with this?
I want to make a speech at my father's funeral.
No problem.
Technically, yes, but practically.
When I said no problem, what I meant was no problem. Ignore me.
I'm smiling, but I am very furious.
You're the good guy now? You locked up half the nation.
Yes, and now I'm releasing them. What are you doing?
I've been picking out funeral cushions with Slim Hitler over there.
Trust no one. Stalin will be loving this.
Don't worry. Nobody's gonna get killed. I promise you.
I've had nightmares that made more sense than this.
You will not take me down! I will not be silent!
Hi everyone, my name is Eric Cohn, and I'd like to welcome up Steve Buscemi. You also can't see the people all over the country who are getting this through live feed, so it's a good.
Look like a pretty relaxed crowd, though.
So, you've played so many different kinds of characters who are comical, and you've also played some sort of disreputable characters in the past. And if there was a Venn diagram for this character, he kind of falls into both of those camps. What was sort of your relationship to this material, to Soviet Russia, to Khrushchev, when you first heard about this opportunity to work on the film?
Well, I mean, I remember, Khrushchev to me is this iconic character that I remember, really from the 60s. And I guess I really didn't know much more about him. And in reading the script, and the script was like really thick. It was like shooting an epic, and really, really dense, and a lot of that sort of British humor that sometimes kind of went over my head. And then there were so many characters that their names sounded the same, so I kept having to go back and go, which one is Malakoff and which one is Molotov and which one is, and looking up people as I'm so it was a fun read, but it was kind of daunting, and even though in the beginning of the script there was a note that said that the actors wouldn't be required to do a Russian accent, I still felt like, I don't know if I can do this. I mean, if I had to do an accent, forget it. I think I just would have not done it because that just would have been too daunting. But, you know, just physically, I just thought, how do I pull this off? Because, I mean, people know what Stalin looked like, and I guess not as many people know who Khrushchev was, maybe today, young people, but he's certainly easy to find out what he looks like, and he was a big guy. So when I talked to Armando on the phone about it, I thought I was really going to talk myself out of the job, you know, and try to explain to him nicely that I don't really think you want me for this. But he assured me that, you know, just not to put too much thought into it, and if I would shave my head and get the bald look, and we'll do it with just a minimal amount of makeup, because he said we can't do like a whole big thing. We just don't have the money or the time. And you know, we'll do it with the wardrobe and pad you a little bit. And don't forget, it's Khrushchev of 1953. He was not as big as he was, as you know, later when people remember him, you know, with the banging the shoe with the UN. And then I went, yeah, I'm crazy for even thinking of not doing this. This is going to be so much fun. And it was.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that, because a lot of people know Armando Iannucci's stuff from either Loop or from Veep or the Thick of It, and there's a consistency to that, but it's all you know, sort of a world that feels a bit like an echo of our own. You know, the dialogue's a little bit faster, but the situations are contemporary. Here you have that same sort of template in a period piece. So, you know, what sort of changes could you tell from that side of things? I mean, when you were shooting it, was there any effort to kind of make it seem like this was the 1950s, or?
A little bit. You know, there's not much smoking in the film, if you notice, and that's because the cigarettes were really hard to smoke. These Russian cigarettes were like flat on one end. I remember we tried doing it in an early scene, and it just was like really hard. And Armando said, "Don't worry about it. We don't have to, you know." Yes, people would have been smoking like all the time, but you know, he didn't really care about that stuff. And it does have, you know, sort of a modern feel, but it doesn't feel wrong. You know, it feels right for the tone of the film.
And the other thing about his style is that you have all this overlapping dialogue, and it almost feels like this kind of combustible thing where everyone's trying to get a word in at the same time. So obviously everyone's wondering, you know, is this thing improvised? But here you are talking about this sprawling screenplay.
Well, he had a 2-week rehearsal period before we started shooting, and that was really helpful. One, just to get to know the other actors, but also to talk about the story and the characters, and yeah, Armando, once we got to know our lines and characters and each other, he really encouraged us to, you know, to make it feel real in any way that we can, and not to worry about stepping on each other's lines. And of course, you know, while we were shooting it, if there's something that didn't come through, he would say, all right, you know, on this take, I really need to hear this line, or this. But everything else, it's okay. You could just get your line in whenever.
What is the art of cussing like on one of his shoots? Because it feels like everything is so meticulous. You know, it's like, it's almost like these characters thought of new insults when they woke up in the morning and couldn't wait to deliver them.
Yeah, I mean, that was part of, you know, just in doing research and just talking about Nikita Khrushchev. He seems like he was sort of that guy, and he was hard to shut up. I mean, one of my favorite lines in the film is from Beria, saying he spends, you know, his life trying to make people talk, and he can't shut this idiot up, you know. And yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I guess I kind of went through it on Boardwalk Empire too. Like the cursing on that was, you know, you tend to don't think that people cursed as much like in other periods, but I think they cursed just as much. You know?
And then there's this whole physicality of it. I mean, one of my favorite scenes in the movie is and you storm into work in your pajamas, and then all of a sudden everyone sort of realizes you're wearing pajamas. I mean, how do you keep a straight face having to do this kind of stuff? And it's like, it's a film shoot where you need to hit your marks, and there's only a certain amount of time in the day, and you're running around your pajamas.
We weren't hitting a lot of marks. I mean, I don't remember it being. No, I mean, I think that's just the way that Armando shot it, in this kind of a loose way, and it was very funny. There were some scenes, where I did laugh, and one scene especially when we're all standing around the funeral, and I try and make it, and I'm trying to get closer to Beria, and I just want to get, I did break up there. You could see me put my head down and start to laugh, and then Armando cuts out of it, and then cuts to another shot. But, yeah, laughing is good. We got a lot of it out in rehearsals.
Was there a lot of stuff that was left on the cutting room floor? I mean, were there scenes you were surprised?
There was the scene where we're watching the John Ford film was longer. It was, but now in seeing the film, I don't remember. There's nothing that was really, I think, important that was cut out. And Armando said that. I mean, I felt like, really, when we were shooting it, I thought, how the hell is he going to put this together? Because there were so many scenes, and he just said, don't worry about it. We're just going to film a lot, and when I see it in the editing room, I'll just know what to take out. And I mean, it could have been like a 3-hour film.
I'm sure some of us would love to see a 3-hour version or a sequel. But I think there is something really interesting about the way the tone oscillates too. I mean, there are moments that are hilarious, and then they're sort of undercut on some level by some really dark developments, certainly at the very end of the film. There are a few other parts throughout where you think you're supposed to laugh, you're primed for laughter, and then you kind of recognize how bleak this world is. How did you guys talk about that? I mean, were there discussions about, well, we actually want to play this straight, or this is not actually a laugh line, things to that extent?
I don't know that we talked about it that much, except that I think we all recognized the tone, I think, that Armando was going for, and plus, I mean, it's in all of his work. I mean, I think this went to darker places than what he's done before, and yeah, maybe we were a little bit unsure about that, but I don't think we worried about it. We just all trusted Armando, and we kind of knew the scenes that were funnier than others, but you still play it straight, but knowing kind of in the back of your mind that this is absurd, like these people are absurd, they're ridiculous, And then there were scenes like the trial, like the kind of mock trial that they do for Beria at the end, and that was the only scene that Armando didn't rehearse. He really wanted that to have that frenetic energy, and wouldn't even let us go onto the set before we shot it. He just said, look, you're going to take them in, there's going to be people in there, do whatever you have to do to set this up and get through your lines, and don't worry if you mess up. We'll do it a few times, but he just really wanted that energy and that was the scene, like one of the scenes that we just knew, this is not funny. This is heavy.
Well, a lot of actors talk about, when you have to play a certain character with a very complex backstory, a very specific set of circumstances, you start to, get inside their mind a little bit. And how close to this character did you become? Did you feel like you were, sort of living to some degree inside his head when you had to do these scenes, or was there an ability to disconnect yourself?
Well, I mean, what I had to do was forget who I was playing, like forget who this guy, this historical figure. And just find, what it was about this guy that sort of made him tick in these circumstances. I mean, nobody thought that Khrushchev was going to be the one to, you know, sort of become the successor. I think when Stalin died, the New York Times, you know, like made a list of the people, of the 10 people in the Politburo, and he was like, you know, like 8th, 9th, or 10th. You know, like nobody thought, and I don't think he really thought it, and I'm not sure that he even wanted it. He just didn't want Beria to be the guy. He didn't think Malenkov could pull it off. He really wanted his mentors on the Politburo, you know, thinking that they deserved it, but they didn't seem to be the, you know, like stepping up to the plate. And I think, and you know, and in the course of, you know, the days around the funeral, they all just saw in Khrushchev that he was doing it, you know. So he kind of, I don't know that he was that ambitious or that he recognized his own ambition, but that was really fun to play. And plus, he's fighting for his life. I mean, you know, he knew that if Beria was the one to get in there, that there was a good chance that then he'd be on a list. And that's what I kind of liked about him, is that he's a survivor. You know, he was a veteran. You know, he was in the war. He was close to Stalin, and I think he was very, you know, adaptable. I mean, he would do things. You know, I mean, Stalin kind of liked him because he was like the funny guy. You know, there's a story where Stalin made him do like a folk dance at one of those crazy all-night dinners, and he did it. You know, he was a good storyteller, and he kind of knew when to play the clown and then when to get serious.
That folk dance scene would make a great prequel to this movie. But the other thing that really comes to mind here is that even though it's set in a totally different era, in part I think for some of us because it's in English, you start to see certain reverberations of where we are now politically for a lot of different reasons. Now, you made this movie, what, a year ago, something like that?
We made it, we were shooting in London the day of the Brexit vote. I remember, you know, waking up that morning. I wasn't working that day, and the newspaper said, you know, they had the percentage of what the vote was going to be, and it looked like it was Remain was like going to be the outcome. And I went to breakfast, and when I got back to the hotel, the doorman, you know, he kind of was ashen, you know, and he was the one that told me. And that night I was out to dinner in this pub, and literally people were like crying on my shoulder, like these Londoners could not believe what had happened. And that was the first inkling that I got, that I went, oh, could something like this surprising and happen with our election? You know, I still didn't want to believe it. I still didn't believe it, but look what happened.
Yeah, I mean, what was it like to have finished a project like this, and not only to see what happened with the election, but the extent to which Russia became so much more prominent in our national conversation,
Yeah.
knowing you had something like this in the pipeline?
Well, and you know, this film is banned in Russia. But they're seeing it anyway, you know. I think they have they have their ways.
Thankfully.
Yeah, it's just, you know, I mean, I don't want to read that much into it, but it's just interesting. I mean, I think it's good timing for the film to come out, and I think it's always good to be reminded of what power can do to certain individuals, and that we should be careful. You know, that you know, I mean, can this happen here? I think a version of it can. You know, so I think it's very timely and important.
I guess they're not showing it at the White House anytime soon.
I haven't gotten my invitation for a White House meeting.
It's interesting to hear you talk about this, because as an actor for so long, you have taken on roles in which you play these guys who are very fiercely driven towards lost causes, essentially. You think about, obviously, somebody like the character in Fargo, it's just sort of, that on some level, whatever comes out of it, it's probably not going to be good for this guy.
Right.
Do you feel like, on some level, that there is that risk of getting typecast because you have managed to transcend that in a way that I think a lot of actors probably shy away from because of that danger?
I don't know. I mean, I've avoided certain roles because it's too similar to stuff I've done in films where I didn't think were as good, But I think it's hard to avoid being typecast once you sort of get going, and you get known for things. I feel like I've had a really varied career. I mean, I've played lots of different types of parts, but maybe the ones where people know me the best are in the films where I play a certain type of character. But that's okay. I mean, typecasting means, at least I'm being cast. So it's okay.
What is the trickiest thing about doing a movie like this when you have to kind of go out into the world and sort of explain it to people? I mean, knowing that you do have your own kind of past career, but then you also have this director who has one kind of reputation and different kinds of actors. And the movie has a profile of seeming like a comedy, but it's not a traditional comedy. So what have you sort of gleaned from having to sort of explain it to people?
I don't know. I don't feel like I need to explain it. I mean, to me, there's there is a tradition of these types of films. I mean, when I read the script, it sort of reminded me of Dr. Strangelove. I mean, that was about a very serious subject, but it was really, really funny, and it was exciting to me to read something and to think, that Armando was doing it, that I could be in that type of a film with a great cast, and I love ensemble films, yeah. I mean, I mean, you all got it right. You don't need any explanation from me, but and I think, if people are interested in the subject and in Armando's work and whatever gets them there, I think they won't be disappointed.
And the other thing I think is interesting is this is a guy who, his last movie was a couple years ago, but he's done very well on TV.
Yeah.
You bounce between those two media too. What is it specifically about something that tells you this should be a movie or it should be a series? I mean, could Death of Stalin be a series, or does that 2-hour limitation?
No, I think. No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess, with Veep, like, you don't know, like, where that was going. The Stalin could only go to one. I mean, the history, where it's going to go. I mean, I guess that was maybe true with Boardwalk Empire, but I was playing a fictitious version of the real guy. Nucky, I played Nucky Thompson. The character was Nucky Johnson, who was also this big, huge, bald guy. But luckily nobody knew what he really looked like. And then Terry Winter changed the name, so he could just invent his own version of it. So I don't know. I mean, it's I like doing both. I think the hard thing about doing TV is that you don't know where it's going. You don't know where your character's going. You don't know if you're going to like it. And if you're going to like your character, a few seasons in.
And you just wrapped another TV show now.
I just did one for TBS called Miracle Workers, which was written and created by Simon Rich, and Daniel Radcliffe is in it, and a wonderful cast, and it takes place in heaven, and where God is sort of like the CEO of a failing corporation. He's lost interest in it, and he was never too competent to begin with. And I play God.
From one dysfunctional bureaucracy to another, right? Well, I hope you all tell your friends to go see this movie. It's playing all over the country, and it can use all the help it can get. But thank you for sticking around for the Q&A, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. And thank you.
That was a good time. What do you think?
I loved it. Are we on?
We're always on, Dave.
Oh, okay, cool.
We are always on.
All right. I'm here.
Dave has had the first floor. A couple drinks, we'll say?
Yeah, strong drinks.
Well, I mean, Alamo doesn't draft, doesn't fuck around with their alcohol.
Does not fuck around. Doesn't fuck around with food either.
I know, right?
It was, oh my god, it was so delicious.
Yeah. Oh, also, the PR guy was very nice and let us film the entirety of the Q&A.
I like the movie. I thought it was very funny. It really caught me off guard.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I went into this completely blind. It was shockingly funny for the incredibly morbid subject matter.
Yeah. Especially, like, towards the end and, like, in the middle and, like... Well, no, like, even, like, the stuff, like, in the, like, the torture room or whatever... Or death chamber, you should say.
Yeah, because about intermittently every, 10 seconds in the background, you just hear, long live Stalin, and gunshot. And it's just funny because it's just another day at the office for these people, and they're so unaffected by the horrors that they're subjecting people to.
Most of the jokes are revolved around death. Like, it's like shot to the face, right? It's just death, and it's like, whatever. See it all the time.
Suffice it to say, this is a dark film.
It's a dark comedy.
It is a very, very dark comedy. If you're into that, though, good news.
Yeah, it's right up your alley.
Good news. This was pretty good. I think it was very well shot.
It is very well done. Yeah.
The whole movie was made very, very well. Like, great production value, great production design, awesome cast.
Who's the guy who played Stalin? Because he looks so familiar.
I don't know, but the guy, Malakov, I think is. Listen, the names are hard.
Yeah, they were hard. Yeah.
He looked so familiar, and then we were both laughing when the guy from Hot Fuzz, the officer who was unintelligible, showed up.
Who just started running in his first scene because he knew he was gonna get caught or something.
Yeah. This movie was a lot of fun. And, obviously, like, we're not really going to get into... I mean, I don't know. We didn't even think about this. This is the new movie. Should we not get into spoiler territory here?
Well, it's history, so, I mean...
Yeah, I guess what's there to spoil?
Yeah, it was already spoiled.
Yeah, if you don't know, Nikita Khrushchev, played by Steve Buscemi, excellently, ends up taking over. That's just what happened.
It's like a nice... condensed Game of Thrones.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, there's like a lot of political intrigue, and it makes sense because you have somebody who has a background in TV at the helm of this. And man, just like a breakneck pace, really fast, really funny.
Someone who I don't normally like, who I found to be like really funny and just like...
Oh, yeah.
I think you might know who I'm talking about.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about. Fucking Lucius Malfoy.
Yeah,
in this
Jason
movie.
Isaac just comes in with all this...
hilarious!
Yes. He has one of the best parts of the movie.
I think he stole every scene he was in.
Yeah, like, Steve Buscemi comes up to him. He's like, we gotta kill this guy or whatever. We gotta aspire. And Jason Isaac's just like stone faces. And he's like, I think I'm gonna have to report you. And then he just breaks down. And he's like, look at your face, you son of a bitch.
So Dave.
Yes.
Now that the audio quality has become suddenly much better, as if we're in another location that's controlled, what are your final thoughts on the Death of Stalin, the movie, not the historical event? I think we're all glad he died. He can go fuck himself.
Yeah, I was gonna say both good.
Both good.
Both good.
Pro both.
Pro both. Yes. No, I thought it was pretty funny. It was great. It was everybody had great performances. There's a lot of funny moments in there. Specifically, the one that stands out to me because it's been a while since we talked. Yeah, but the funniest scene that I remember was when it was actually at the funeral and they're all standing beside everybody.
I think that might be my favorite.
Yeah, and they're all like trying to like get information out of each other, but like it's like
switch with me. Switch with me.
He slowly goes up.
We'll make it part of the ceremony.
It's like that game where it's like the phone game.
Yeah, telephone.
Yeah, telephone. And then Steve Buscemi slowly walks in front of Jeffrey Tambor, and Jeffrey Tambor's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I loved it. There's something great and anachronistic about how biting and quick and funny the dialogue is. That it's modern in its approach to political comedy, dialogue, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it is very much entrenched in that period piece. Like just the little touches of like, oh, we killed all the good doctors. Oh, well, of course we killed them. They were going to poison them.
Yeah.
And everyone's just so afraid, but also just the way it swings back and forth between being really, really funny and just that last scene with spoilers for historical event.
I forgot his
when
name.
when they kill that character, and Steve Buscemi just is so angry at him, and like they're burning his body. Is like, you fuck, I told you you'd be ash. It's like,
yeah,
wow. It's like you can feel just the hate and anger. It's oof.
I don't know if I said it like coming out. Probably I did, but it feels like a condensed Game of Thrones kind of thing.
Yeah, honestly,
Like,
yeah, with the level of politics and the characters and the betrayal.
They're all afraid of like, but they want to rule though, but maybe not necessarily. Like they're not like coming forth and like you doing like tempting Stalin or like doing anything like that. They're just kind of in the back waiting.
Yeah.
Scared though, but waiting.
Yeah. So all in all, I think that was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't think it's out wide or anything. That was it was a couple weeks ago.
That was about 2 weeks ago. Listen, if you can make a concerted effort to go see it, I would say
it could be on demand or something like that. And if it is, I definitely say rent it. It's very fun. If you like that kind of stuff, I think you'll find it pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, and listen, we you already heard the Q&A. It's in this podcast. We have the video version of it too on our YouTube channel. If you want to see actual Buscemi, you can
Actual
do that.
Buscemi.
Actual Buscemi.
Real Buscemi all the time.
9/11 firefighter hero Steve Buscemi.
Yes, we won glasses because of that.
We did. Yeah, he's a Valley Stream FDNY
nice
guy. Right over here. Right, Long Islander. He's a good dude.
Like us.
Like us.
Oh no, we gave away our location.
Oh no, they know that we're on Long Island. Fuck.
But do they know that we're in Greenport?
I live in Baldwin.
Oh, I was trying to do a thing.
Oh, shit. All right, everybody. Next week, we're actually going to do Starship Troopers. And the reason that we're actually going to do it is because we already did it.
We already did it. It's already done.
We're breaking the space-time continuum. We are fucking with flux capacitors.
What if we put out Starship Troopers first and then this?
God damn it.
That would really fuck with everybody.
We're already confusing people by having episode 0, and then, like, we can't keep doing
is that how you labeled it?
On the Rocks is episode, the first one, X-Men Days of Future Past, is episode 0.
Oh.
I retconned that, like Ray's parents. It'll be fine.
Oh, are they doing that?
Maybe.
Oh, God, I hope they don't.
No, I kind of appreciated the fact that her parents were literally just nobodies. Like,
good, because where else did all the other Jedi come from? Fucking Skywalker loins?
Listen, my biggest problem with the Star Wars movies in general...
Going on Star Wars.
Quick Star Wars aside, my problem with the Star Wars movies in general is that they are, with very limited exceptions, they're afraid to get away from the Skywalker family.
Well, except the new one.
Except the new one. No, they're finally willing to do that. But by virtue of them not willing to step away from that family, what they don't realize is they make the universe incredibly small.
Yeah, and there's not much you can do with that.
Yeah. So, like, having the balls to be like, guess what? The secret to your parentage, you know the truth that they were nobodies. They were literally nobodies. They have no significance in the world. And that's it.
You just happen to be this.
That's really refreshing. Because it would have been, listen, would it have been satisfying for her to be Ben Kenobi's kid? Yeah, probably, but it would have made the world small. Because it's like, of course.
I think that would have been, I don't know, stupid.
Yeah.
Because it's like, He's kind of like a hermit, and I never like felt like he.
He also aged 40 years in the span of 17.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
clearly Ben Kenobi is real and Obi-Wan is his clone.
Oh,
Obviously, we're going down that fan theory. That explains why he doesn't recognize R2.
Because they weren't even fucking thinking about that at the time.
But Anakin,
I don't
Darth Vader
care.
built C-3PO.
I don't fucking. Who cares? Fuck it. See, there's two themes, and you didn't see. I can't really.
What didn't I see?
Never mind. We'll have to watch that on episode 5.
What's episode 5 gonna be?
Well, no, episode 5. Yeah, 5. I can't count.
Yeah, 5. What's 5 gonna be?
Blade Runner 2049.
Well, first I need to see Blade Runner. Just Blade Runner.
In the year 1997. No. No. I think it was like 2021.
That's that sounds about right.
Or maybe it's 2014. I don't remember.
Well, listen, as long as we can all agree that 2001: Space Odyssey is the most historically inaccurate film ever made, we're good.
What?
And on that note, I'm Paul Danino Braun.
And I'm Dave.
Stay classy and watch movies, motherfuckers.
That was different from the other one that we just did.
What?
I'm leaving.
Oh,
I'm leaving the show.
That's it. I'm done.
You'll see me back next week.
Fucking prick.